Okay, in this example here, we're going to factor trinomials. So trinomial again is 3 terms. So we'll look at the first one here. So what we need to think is we need 2 numbers that multiply to give me 9, which is the last term. And then we also need those same 2 numbers to add, and they have to give me 10. So we're looking for factors of 9. So I usually like to start at 1. So if I go 1 times 9, that equals 9. If I go 1 plus 9, that equals 10. So those are the 2 factors that would work, and they'll both be positive. So then we just open our brackets, and we go x plus 1 and x plus 9, and we're finished factoring. And if you wanted to check if these binomials are right, you would FOIL it out, and you'd notice that it would go back to this original trinomial. Okay, let's try a second one. So in this one here, we need 2 numbers that multiply to give me 24 and add to give me negative 11 this time, which is my middle term. So we'll go through the list. So 1 times 24, that won't work. 2 times 12, that won't work. 3 times 8 would work because if I multiply it, it'll give me 24, but I need a negative 11. So that means they're both going to have to be negative. And we know that if we multiply 2 negatives, we'll get a positive. If we add these 2 negatives, we'll get negative 11. So our factors will be x minus 3 and x minus 8. And again, to check, we would just FOIL it out. Okay, let's try a few more. So this one here, we need numbers that multiply to give me 100 and add to give me negative 29. So factors of 100, 1 times 100, that won't work. 2 times 50, that won't work. 4 and 25 would work. So 4 and 25. And this time we need negative 29 again, so they're both going to have to be negative. Because if I add 2 negatives, we'll get negative 29. So factors are x minus 4 and x minus 25. Okay, let's look at this next one. This one is different from the previous 3 in that we have this negative 2 in front. So what we need to check is, can I divide all 3 terms by negative 2? So that would be my greatest common factor. So let's first take out that negative 2. So we'll be left with x squared, this time plus 15x, and plus 54. So again, to get these terms, we divide. So now if I ignore this negative 2, we're just going to factor this trinomial like the last 3. So we need numbers that multiply to give me 54 and add to give me 15. So this time, the ones that will work would be, what, 9 and 6? So the negative 2 will stay out front, just like before, because we took it out, and our factors are x plus 9 and x plus 6. So again, take out a greatest common factor if you can. Okay, 2 more. So with E here, we notice that we're dealing with 2 terms, x and y. The same rules apply, so we need numbers that multiply to give me negative 72 and add to give me positive 1. So that would be 9 and negative 8, 9 and negative 8. So this time we need to have an x squared in the front. So let's just open our brackets and start that way. So we need x squared in the front. So when we FOIL this, we'll get x squared, and we need y squared in the back, because again, if we multiply y and y, we'll get y squared, and then we just fill in our factors. So it'll be plus 9 and minus 8. Okay, one more. So this one is a combination of all of them. It has a coefficient in front and 2 variables. So we'll start by taking out that 3. So we're left with x squared minus 5xy minus 24 y squared. And so we need multiples of negative 24 and add to give me negative 5. So that would be negative 8 and 3, negative 8 and 3. And just like the last one, we'll leave the 3 out front. And we need to have x and y, so we'll have an x in the front to give us x squared. We'll have y's in the back to give us y squared, and then we'll just fill in this negative 8 and plus 3. So negative 8 and plus 3. And that's factoring trinomials.